My name's John Lindquist. I'm one of the 4 national officers in Vietnam Veterans Against the War. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, served in Vietnam in '68 and '69. Today we have for you a film called Only the Beginning. This is a documentary about a limited incursion by Vietnam Veterans Against the War called Due Canyon 3 in April of 1971. It also contains film footage from French, Vietnamese, and U.S. sources about the war in Indochina up till 1972. Also references to the Winter Soldier investigation of February of '71, where U.S. soldiers got together to testify on war crimes in Indochina. This film is a very moving and dramatic presentation of why veterans and Vietnam Veterans Against the War came home to protest this war in Indochina, to stop the war and to bring our brothers home. So here it is, Only the Beginning.
This is an honorable discharge. It says, from the Armed Forces of the United States of America, this is to certify that Alan Wallace Morentz, Airman 2nd Class Regular Air Force, was honorably discharged from the United States Air Force on the 23rd day of May, December '66. Down at the bottom it says, this is an important record, safeguard it. For Skip Walsh, Sheriff, Sarasota, Florida, an Army Commendation Medal, and all my stuff.
Terry DeMont, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Purple Heart, and CIB. Ron Padarsky, Floral Park, New York, a lot of shit. Walt Kurtz, Tennessee, 4 Bronze Stars.
Right on.
I pray that time will forgive me and my brothers what we did. And only those lumping pigs behind those closed doors have to suffer, and not the young kids and the unborn kids.
I mean, you may come in there thinking, it's your patriotic duty, right? A lot of guys do. I mean, they come out of families where there's a long tradition of patriotism. Their father was in the Army, their brother was in the Army, their uncle was in the Army. The whole family put into their heads that to be a good person, you go in the Army, you don't cause trouble, you don't complain.
I got drafted into the Army. This is where I started to hate anything that wasn't exactly like me. Goose. Yeah, I don't think you really know what it means unless you know how much hate is instilled in one person. And it's so hideous. I mean, we've gone into barracks, we've had like pictures of, they weren't pictures, they were like cartoons with slant eyes, everything was a slant eye, and these little hats on the top, and these were the people that you were hating. They were positioned right above the gun racks, no uniform or anything, just simply the profile of one, or maybe the full face of another.
I remember in basic training there was a film, and the communists were 2 white people, I guess Russian, who came into an Asian village and deceived all the Asian people into stirred them up and got them fighting. And that's the image that the Army tries to give you. So a guy comes in and he finds out that a communist is an 18-year-old kid, or a woman with children, or any number of people who are just everyday people fighting for their survival.
Keep using the word Kong and slope head and slant eyes. I said, hey, this is the same words almost used in the States against me, third world people. But then as you go on, you begin to realize this is foolish. You're killing your own brothers.
The thing that is happening in Vietnam now is not new.
Approximately a century ago, it was General Sheridan, I believe, who said that the more you kill this year, the less you'll have to kill next year. He wanted to find a person to do this, and the person he got was Custer. Custer may not have known it, but he was on the search and destroy missions. And he may not have known body counts, but if he heard it, he would have known what it was.
I've witnessed the relocation of villages. One particular operation was a 3-day operation where we took all the villagers out of the village, put them in a barbed wire compound, interrogated them, tortured some of them, beat some of them, and then we had supplies brought in to just level the ville and just get rid of anything, make it look like there was never a ville there. These things that I'm telling about, burning of villages, shooting in free fire zones, reconning by fire, they were all common. They weren't isolated. We did them wherever we went.
I know I don't belong here. It's not my war. It's their land. They were born here. What am I doing here? And it's the same fight in Laos and Cambodia. The whole Vietnamization thing is a joke. The White House set up its stooges in Saigon and in Vientiane and in Phnom Penh, and nobody's fooled. The Arbans are in the same spot we're in. They didn't enlist. They've been drafted, and they don't want any part of this war either.
ARVN troops are not fighting any better than they ever did, because basically they have no more reason to fight than the GIs who are being withdrawn. And they're just over there getting killed for the same reason, which is to prop up the Saigon government.
Disabled war veterans protesting a government benefit policy which didn't grant them enough money to stay alive on, tried to march on the presidential palace. They were warned beforehand that their protest was forbidden, but they could not believe that the government would use force against veterans disabled in the service of their own country. There were 100,000 military police in Saigon, trained, equipped, and financed by the United States.
The guys are really confused about what's happening. You talk about it all the time, and people begin to come up with sort of partial answers to why that is. You know, it's a bad government. It's the rich people. It's the people that don't have to go in. The people whose sons don't have to go in. That big business is behind the war. But it's generally understood as that the reason you're there is because some rich people want to use you, and you're poor. If you weren't poor, you wouldn't be there. I mean, if you had a father who was a businessman, you wouldn't be there. Then there's this incredible rage because you're trapped inside this uniform.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of mistakes, but, you know, the grunts don't always do what the captain says, you know. See, the captain will stay back, he'll tell a platoon or something to go out so many 100 meters, you know. We don't do it. we only go as far as we get out of sight, sit down, and come back in. We don't want to hit contact. That's one thing we don't want to hit.
Mostly unpopular officers, from what I heard, if they mess with a grunt too much, they get shot at.
A friend of mine, Captain, kind of got shot in the back.
What was he doing? What was the captain doing after being shot?
From what my friend said, he was telling them just go on through, and well, they were getting hit pretty bad, and he was telling them just keep on going. They said no. He kind of got shot.
I don't really think that there is going to be another generation of American soldier. I think that people are just tired of it. There will be people in the Army, but the people that really feel strong on it aren't going to go in.
And GIs are just refusing to fight. I mean, that's one of the reasons why it makes sense for the government to take out ground troops. You're not going to be able to order a GI ground offensive anymore. The main thing left is the air power.
Lang Bai, Bong Xian, Xian Ban, Xu Xun, Zai Lok, Pang Bing, Vok Son, Tam Kỳ, Bing Son, Nghĩa Hành, Ba Lang An, Bing Khe. Thái Ninh, Đâu Chiang, Xuyên Học, Ô Môn, Châu Đốc.
There's a big push now to build up a tremendous amount of sympathy for the POWs. People know that those POWs weren't over there minding their own business. I mean, they were over there dropping bombs on people, destroying their homes, destroying their families.
Agent Orange is a chemical defoliant sprayed over Vietnam. It contains thalidomide. Preliminary research by Vietnamese scientists indicate that cell damage to Vietnamese children will be 6 times greater than the cell damage to the children of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But no Vietnamese woman can wait for the final results of these studies.
Xin Quang Nam, làm phước sướng. Hôm năm tôi ở một khu bị máy bay thuộc phối.
I am Hoang Thi Le from Quang Tri Province in South Vietnam. I have 2 normal children. Hoang Thi Ho is my 3rd child. She is now almost 2 years old. When I was 2 months pregnant, I was hit directly with chemical defoliation spray. I came to the north and my daughter was born here. She is mongoloid. The back of her head is flat. Her hands are deformed. She has 3 toes that are too long and 6 toes on her left foot. She cannot stand or walk or talk. When she cries, she chokes because her tear ducts run back down her nose into her throat instead of out onto her eyes.
From New York, and I have a Vietnamese campaign ribbon, Vietnamese service ribbon, National Defense ribbon, and a Purple Heart.
Right up.
Andrew Bobachek from New York. I have a Vietnamese ribbon and a Bronze Star.
My name is John Morrow, and here's a bunch of bullshit.
More bullshit!
My name's Peter Brannigan, and I got a Purple Heart here, and I hope I get another one fighting these motherfuckers.
Robert Jones, New York. I symbolically return all Vietnam medals and other service medals given me by the power structure that has genocidal policies against non-white peoples of the world.
Right on.
All power to the people.
This is for the brothers and sisters at Kent. For the brothers and sisters this year.
Second Battalion, 1st Marines. Power to the people. 22nd Cavalry's fighting Da Nang, and I hope they realize it's their last goddamn chance.
All that with respect, 4th Army, retired. I'm taking in 9 Purple Hearts, Distinguished Service Cross, Silver Star, Bronze Star, Army Commendation, and a lot of other shit. This is for my brothers. Right on.
We don't want to fight anymore, but if we have to fight again, it'll be to take these steps.
Well, that film, only the beginning, changed my life. I was at that demonstration and I returned my medals. And ever since that day, I've been up to my eyeballs and worked for the Vietnam veterans and the veterans movement in general around this country. And this is the type of anger and determination that veterans, their families, and people all across the United States are feeling right now. The cutbacks are cutting deep into the social programs in our country. Veterans are losing their pensions. Agent Orange disabilities, there aren't none. Atomic veterans getting compensated, there isn't any. Veterans are going to D.C., Washington, D.C., once again. Operation Dewey Canyon 4, May 12th through 15th, 1982. If you're interested, if you missed Dewey Canyon 3, you don't want to miss Dewey Canyon 4. Call Vietnam Veterans Against the War at 963-0398. And let's get moving on to D.C.